Welcome back to the ethereal archive, dear dreamer. Tonight the shelves whisper louder than usual. They carry not the salt of oceans, but the damp breath of mountains. I found a volume waiting for me, bound in weathered leather, its cover stained by rain. Across its spine, in uneven letters, are the words, "Tales from the Driftwood Tavern." And inside, a story not of waves but of ridges, not of storms but of silence, a silence that listens back. This tale is called The Last Climb. It begins in mist, with footsteps that do not echo, and a meeting that may have been gift, myth, or memory. Come, the mountain is waiting, and our narrator, Arvem.
I had almost forgotten what silence sounded like. Not the kind you create with headphones, or in the late hours of an office, when the city sleeps and only your typing keeps rhythm. This was a silence that pressed in from all sides, alive, almost breathing. The bus finally dropped us at the base of the Hantana mountains, where the paved road dissolved into uneven trails. The horizon was a ripple of greens, valleys frozen like waves mid-motion. Mist hung low. The air was sharp and new, and when I inhaled, it felt like my lungs had been washed clean. We were 10 in the group, 10 strangers who would be a temporary family for the next week. There was Maya, sharp-tongued, restless, the kind of woman who hated silence more than exhaustion. Thankfully, she was witty enough that her constant remarks didn't irritate me. She reminded me of a friend I once had, the life of every party, even uninvited ones. For better or worse, no one ever felt unseen when she was around. Kai, the photographer, was her opposite, quiet, wiry, eyes always scanning for something others might miss. He carried his camera like it was an extra organ, something he needed to survive. Farah and Dev, the couple. They bickered over everything, how much water was enough, whether the cloud above us looked like a dragon or a sheep. Their arguments were childish, sometimes ridiculous, but oddly reassuring. The world still felt normal when people could argue about nothing. Jonas, the German backpacker, had a habit of asking questions no one could answer.
If a memory changes each time you recall it, does it still belong to you?
He asked, while chewing on roasted peanuts. We laughed, but he just gazed at us. He really wanted to know. Annika, soft-spoken, barely above a whisper when she sang. She was pretty. She had an esoteric vibe. She hummed old tunes as she walked, something between a lullaby and a chant. We were often seated beside each other, and she appreciated my comfort with silences instead of filling it with small talks. Then there was Ravi, our trek leader. Built like the mountain itself. He was unconventionally tall for an India, broad like an ox, but his voice had the patience of stone. He had a smiley face and everyone just relaxed around him. And the last two, locals, cousins from Colombo, who returned to their homeland after a long time. Always cracking jokes, always running out of snacks before anyone else. I'll be honest, I never remembered their names. They were the kind of people who belonged to the background noise of life, not unimportant, but unanchored. And then there was me. Arvem Ros, turning 31 this year. Curly hair that refused to obey, glasses smudged with fingerprints that refused to clear. A startup founder who finally had enough funding to step away for some time, but not enough peace to know what to do with himself. A man with too much ambition and not enough trust. The night of our arrival, we pitched our tents beneath dripping trees. I had to control myself multiple times from lashing out at people wandering around my area. After a while, I understood why. None of these poor folks actually bothered me, to be honest. I was just irritated with the moist feeling around me. I hated the fact that I was not able to enjoy this trip as much as I saw others did. I just was being, as usual, a self-obsessed, narcissistic jerk. Realization did not really make me feel better. I just focused on the campfire warmth instead of my thoughts. The firewood was damp, so the smoke clung around. Ravi told us stories while sparks lifted into the black.
The Hantanas are old. Older than maps, older than stories. The people here say the mountain remembers who walks it.
Jonas mumbled something which caught Annika's attention, but I couldn't hear it. Ravi continued, and immediately everyone became quiet.
Sometimes, if Hantana chooses, it sends someone to walk with you, a stranger. They stay until the journey ends, and then vanish.
Dev asked,
Does that work for both couples and singles?
The group laughed. Farah hit his shoulder, and the storyteller was distracted, but not me. I secretly loved myths, but didn't find enough enthusiasm to ask for more. Sweet Annika somehow read my mind, despite sitting several feet away, across the fire, and asked,
Have you or anyone you know ever experienced this, Ravi?
No, Annika. But then again, I have a feeling that once a while, someone does.
Annika was lost in thoughts. So was I.
Would you share such an experience with others if it happened to you?
The group was contemplating, barely for 4-5 seconds, when Maya suddenly shouted,
Well, who fancies a mysterious ghost this Saturday?
Half of them erupted in animated conversation. The other half moved towards the dinner pot. I was lost in thought, but bit annoyed with Maya now. It had been a long time since my inner voice was louder than my actual one. I found the curry a little spicy to my taste, but the cold weather balanced it out. I noticed Annika walking towards me, and I made space for her to sit beside. After 2 whole minutes, she spoke.
Are you generally quiet, or is it the group, Arvem?
I slowly exhaled. Generally, I smiled. She nodded as if she understood. I am sure most of them could not. After the last 10 years, I doubt if anyone could. The rain had slowed to a very light drizzle. Annika finished her dinner, but didn't leave, just leaned back on the chair, hummed a little tune that calmed me down. She was looking around, a small smile on the corners of her tiny lips. She is really pretty, I heard myself think, as the fire glowed on her beautifully sculpted face. Immediately, I chastised myself and decided to not think about her, or anyone, in that way. After a while, somewhere beyond the tents, I heard quiet footsteps. I wondered if anyone apart from us was camping here. Ravi mentioned no one was for at least 4-5 miles. I told myself the new place was playing tricks. I did not believe myself. We got ready for bed. I had a dreamless sleep. Mornings in Hantana start like apologies. The light creeps in gently, as if it doesn't want to wake anything important. The itinerary was pretty light for first few days. Entire group was divided into 3-member parties. We moved through tea estates, waterfalls, and damp paths that bled into each other. Leeches found us with the dedication of my interns. Farah screamed the first time. Dev made it worse by trying to help. Apparently, you need to apply salt and antiseptic on the bites, else it bleeds for a while. Maya swore at the mud for ruining her sneakers in 3 languages. Kai took photos of everything except people. Sometimes of Annika, when she was in her element. She loved them when he shyly showed her the snaps. Jonas randomly sprang new questions on us, like the new trekking shoes it was breaking into.
If fear keeps you safe, what keeps you alive?
Calories, Dev said. Passion, Annika said, surprising me. Deadlines, I blurted before realizing. It came out too fast. People laughed. I tried to join them. As the day passed, we toured around. Ravi drifted beside me and said,
You're holding on to something heavy, Arvem.
Huh? I twisted my neck, checking my backpack. He just shook his and joined others. After a refreshing dip in waterfalls, hot Tina in the tea estate, some snacks in temples and spicy food again at night, we retired early. I really wanted to enjoy this trip. After a refreshing dip in waterfalls, hot Tina in the tea estate, some snacks in temples and spicy food again at night, we retired early. My music, but I had made a promise to myself to limit it to less than half an hour every day. And I really did need the music to sleep if Jonas was anywhere within 100 meters. We were all worried his snores would scare away other travelers at night. Stray dogs barked at nothing we could see. Tonight the cousins were sharing the tent with me. The cousins swore they saw a lantern moving between trees. Immediately Kai asked for direction and tried to photograph it, but caught only a smear of light. That could have been just a tree trunk. I just plugged in my earphones and slept lightly. I dreamt, not pictures, but presence. On the 3rd day, the trail took us past a tea stall that looked older than the hill it sat on. The woman behind the counter had wrists full of red threads and a face that belonged to every story you've ever heard about someone's grandmother. You are walking the listener's peak, she said in her broken English, as she poured black tea into chipped cups. It tasted divine. Who's the listener? Maya asked, half a smile ready. The one who hears why you came and sends you the right company. Company? A person who fits your silence, she said, as if that explained everything. On the way out, as I trailed behind the group, she placed something into my hands. Brass, cold, oil lamp. A gift for your protection and health, she said. I didn't decline. The bigger climb was in a couple of days, but we had enough climbing experience every day. Whether it was mountains, temple steps, or cathedrals on hilltops. We checked our packs, as if weight could be negotiated with. Ravi traced the route on a map with his finger. Once we reached the base camp, everyone's base personality slowly shifted. Dev admitted he was afraid of heights. Maya confessed she was terrified of silence because it reminded her of a flat in which nobody spoke for an entire year. Annika, almost embarrassed, said she hummed because music kept the people approaching her too directly. Kai walked with me. We didn't say much. He pointed at a slope of grass and said, "This is a kind of green I don't have words for." "Make one up," I said. "Why?" "Helps in remembering it better." I was surprised at that train of thought. That night the wind turned mean. The tents shook like they'd angered the sky. Between the gusts, I heard the barefoot walker again. Slower this time, closer. A rhythm that belonged to one person, not an animal, not a trick of rain. The lamp the old woman gave me sat by my sleeping bag, cool as a kept promise. I thought about my temper, the thing I keep in a cage and feed only in theory. A memory surfaced without permission, something I was not proud of, but not necessarily guilty. I remembered the prickling urge to turn and split the world neatly into before and after. Lying in the tent, I wasn't sure anymore what pride was made of. On the 5th day, the bickering between Farah and Dev turned into a real argument. Not about water, about the way fear disguises itself as logic. Farah made a joke that landed like a blade. Dev's face was scrunching in anger. He was about to shout. I stepped toward them before I knew I was moving. I was on the edge. Not today. Standing between him and Farah, staring right into Dev's eyes. My voice surprised me. Calm, flat, edged. Dev looked at me like I'd grown 6 inches. He was both surprised and angry I was interfering. Ravi appeared from nowhere, the way he does. No one said anything. It ended before anyone could make it worse. Later, Jonas walked beside me and offered peanuts without speaking. After a while, he said, "Sometimes a quiet no is pretty loud." I pretended I didn't hear him, but I had. I gestured for more peanuts. The day of the big trek arrived. It was 10 miles one way, and I was prepared for it, at least physically. We started early, around 4, and as we climbed, the trail turned narrower. At one point, it was narrow enough to make you reconsider life choices. Mist lifted in sheets. Rocks shifted just enough to make you doubt your feet. The fresh air, mixed with the scent of wet leaves, kept me wanting more. We moved slower. Voices became signals instead of conversation. Somewhere, after a stand of eucalyptus and heavy flowing waterfall, the group stretched like a rope pulled too thin. I drifted. Not lost, just a little away from the team. I told myself, this is how people vanish. But this area was pretty well mapped for guides, who could find you in a couple of hours, a day max. I came across a stream. The thin layer of mist hung around, and I was told the water is pure, but I did not trust that. As my eyes scanned around, there she was. Standing on a flat rock, checking out something distant. She seemed taller than me, lean, the kind of fit you get from walking everywhere, not from counting calories. Wheat brown skin, with sun reflecting brilliantly. A sea green windbreaker, scuffed trekking pants, shoes that had hundreds of stories, a simple red thread bracelet, a scratched watch face fogged from the climb. hair pulled back, a few curls free, as if they had their own intentions. And her eyes. I had never seen a more beautiful set of eyes. And then they met mine. No glow, no slow motion. Just a person, hands on her hips, breathing hard, the way you do when the hill has made its point and you're still here. I wondered if I should just head back and turned around.
Hey!
Her voice sounded like it had walked a long way to reach me.
You look like you're choosing between left and left, you know?
I smiled before remembering. I don't do that easily. Yeah, no. My words trailed away as I kept looking at her.
You okay?
Yeah. Just pretending this is a viewpoint.
Oh, it can be. It is, as a matter of fact. See that?
She pointed to a low mountain. It seemed like a green wave had frozen with clouds covering it. It seemed like a beautiful Japanese painting.
That area is covered with fog from both top and bottom. You can see it only from here.
I hardly focused on her words. The visual was spectacular.
Reina.
Huh? What? Sorry?
I said, my name is Reina.
She offered a handshake, breaking my daydreaming. Just Reina? I asked. Yes, just Reina. She smiled again, stopping my heartbeat for a second. We fell into step without negotiation. I asked if she was with a group.
Yeah, I came here with family and friends. I often trek here.
I couldn't see them. She saw my quizzical look.
They're slower. Or maybe I'm impatient. I don't know.
I just nodded along. I saw she could tiptoe across kinds of rock. I kept thinking to myself, man, she is nimble.
You were with Ravi's group, right?
I was surprised. She continued talking.
He is a distant relative, actually. My mother is a salon local.
Now her accent seemed familiar. I still didn't feel it completely at ease, but I could see tiny figures walking on a distant trail. After some time, she suddenly asked,
What do you do?
I build things, I said. Startups, processes, backlogs. I speak fluent slide deck. I'm trying not to be that person this week.
Fair. I'm a PhD student. Right now in Amsterdam, I study how people make meaning and how meanings change with situations.
So, life, I said.
Yes, basically.
She asked if I mind music was being played loudly. I wanted to say yes, that I have a daily limit and all, but caught myself and asked her to go ahead. Her playlist was so damn varied, I had a hard time deciphering her real taste. She went from Daft Punk to 1975 to ABBA and to some unknown band, and I enjoyed it. We walked quietly until the path became uneven. The air smelled like eucalyptus and wet stone. Sweat cooled, then came back to get cooled again. It was the kind of honest work where your body gets a vote for a change, and your brain has to listen. I walked in front. Next, 20 to 30 minutes basically went in silence, helping each other wherever steps were tricky. I did not want to let go of her hand, to be very honest. But I did not want to make it awkward for her either. Once we reached easier inclines, she asked me,
Do you live alone?
Yeah, I do. Work's been hectic, basically married to it.
So, you came to a place your wife can't follow, huh?
Yes.
Seems like you need to work on your marriage, you know?
I think I like to keep choosing projects and then trying to date them.
Man, that sounds exhausting.
It is. It is.
My sister was in a bad relationship. Couple of years ago, you know? The kind where you get small to fit, and then forget how to grow back.
Abusive.
Yeah. Physically, mentally abusive.
Sorry to hear that, Reina.
Well, thanks. She got out, but I feel it was not soon enough. But I remember making promises to myself after watching her get hurt.
Promises. Like?
Prevention being better than cure?
Ah, so you are the cautious type. Let me guess you don't like moving fast in relationships.
If I get into them. I don't though. Yeah, you can call me cautious, but I prefer the term wise.
We digress to different topics. Books first, then life in different cities, then the way loneliness is different outdoors, less personal, more like weather. She told me her mother was Sri Lankan, with long Orient heritage, and her father from the Middle East.
But I truly belong to wherever tea is hot, food is spicy, dogs are friendly, and people quiet.
And for some reason that felt like a credential. She listened like she'd been sent to do exactly that, or maybe she had poker face. We stopped at a flat rock and shared whatever we had. I gave her a trail mix. She gave me tamarind candy. We both pretended we got the better deal. When I told her about my temper, I expected silent judgment or advice. I got neither.
Maybe your anger isn't the enemy. Maybe it's a tool you haven't yet learned how to use well.
Yeah, you might have a point, but it is more like a knife than a pen.
Then don't use it on yourself. Save it for the thing or person that earns it.
More than often, I believe I earn it.
Are you the self-righteous, superior complex egoist who expects too much from himself?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Well, if you can take it, I say be hard on yourself if that's making you better.
I was surprised to hear that advice. It was different from others. It almost seemed wrong, but fundamentally made sense.
The problem is, however, when you compare the present to the best version or someone way ahead in the race.
She told me how much she loved nature. Her treks, pets, and parents. We slowly saw the peak and it was beautiful. I suddenly realized I covered almost 3 hours worth climb without any complaints of wet shoes, sweat cooling inside my poncho, or even hunger. She barely panted despite the steep incline. I needed to recover and sat down for a while. A leech found my ankle. She noticed, squatted, and with a twig and a quick flick, removed it. I thanked her while she talked to the leech, as if she did not want it personally.
Boundaries, my friend.
She took my glasses without asking, breathed on the lens, wiped a thumbprint I'd carried for 2 days, and handed them back.
Better?
Much better. Now I can see my choices in high definition. She laughed. It wasn't a performance, it was just nice. We started walking again. After a while I asked, "Do you believe the local legends about mountains sending in random listeners?"
I believe the world is allowed to be more than one thing at a time, Arvem. Rock and rumour, path and promise. If that makes life a little kinder, I'll take it.
I was trying to make sense of her words.
But yeah, I believe in some of them.
I touched the little brass lamp in my pocket, the one the tea stall woman gave me yesterday. It was warm from my body. I didn't take it out. I just knew it was there. The sun slid out across the valley. It caught her face for half a second, eyes glinting, the red thread on her wrist bright as a small flag. For an instant she looked older than she was, or newer. I can't explain it without sounding strange. Then it was gone, and she was just a person again, breathing next to me, matching my steps.
Can I suggest something?
Sure.
Let's not exchange numbers at the end of this trek.
I sighed and didn't answer right away. It seemed so cliché.
Trust me, it's not a trick or a test. I know how stories get dragged into the city and turned into chores. I like this not being a chore.
I thought about all the ways I've tried to keep things alive by trying too hard. I did not want to agree to her, but okay, fine. No numbers, no email, no clever loopholes.
Thank you. We can let it be exactly this.
Maktub.
Huh? What? Maktub?
It means it is all written.
Oh, wow. Which language is that?
Arabic, I think. It is from the book The Alchemist.
Maktub.
We walked in a comfortable quiet. The path widened slowly. We began to hear people again, voices carrying, a laugh that didn't belong to anyone we knew, the click of a cheap camera.
Tell me something you're going to keep.
This feeling, and our talks.
Yeah, keep that. I will too.
Tell me something you're going to let go.
My habit of calling caution wisdom when it's actually fear.
We reached the place where the narrow path joined the main trail. There was a neat pile of small stones on a larger stone. People add one when they pass. I added one. She didn't. Superstition? I asked. She nodded. I did not ask more. Voices multiplied. Colour did too. Jackets, scarves. We reached a wider part of the ridge where the world opened like a drawer you'd forgotten. The mist thinned. She smiled. A real one. The kind that does not sell you anything. Do you think you'll look for me tomorrow?
I'll want to, but I won't.
Okay. We did not extend our farewell. The path widened, voices multiplied. People slowly appeared. She joined them. I kept watching her as she moved across the pack. We agreed on a rule without ceremony. We let this be exactly what it is, she said. We don't force it to become something else. She was a little further away, 3 steps ahead, taller than the crowd around her, talking to a group of people. I wanted to follow her. She looked back once. Not a dramatic look, just a check-in. And her dazzling smile. I didn't move towards her. It felt important not to. The pact wasn't a rule now. It was respect. I could have asked around. I did not. I searched for my group and rejoined them 10 minutes later, maybe 15. Maya handed me an electrolytes bottle without comment on my disappearance. Ravi just looked at my face and smiled. Jonas asked me if I was all right. I said, I think I will be, yes. On the last stretch down, I touched the lamp in my pocket and that's it. That's the last climb I ever made. Not a miracle. Not a lesson. Just 2 people who walked together for a while, left each other a little better, little more cognizant about many things unexpected. Morning was kinder than it needed to be. The hill gave back our shadows one by one. We packed the way people do when they are trying not to say goodbye. Farah and Dev leaned on each other, like a decision had been made without a speech. Maya was quieter, not defeated, just less loud for my sake, which is its own kind of love. Annika took my phone and added her number. Jonas didn't have a question. For once, that felt like an answer. On the way down, we passed the tea stall. The old woman looked at me, and then at the small brass lamp I'd tucked into my side pocket. "You used it," she said. "I didn't light it." "That's not what I meant," she said, and smiled like she knew my secret trek partner. At the bus, numbers were exchanged and promises made. Maya gave an awkward hug, no words, and left. Kai lifted his camera and took one photograph of me. "To remember the word you made up," he said. I didn't ask which word. I think I knew. As the bus pulled away, rain tapped the glass. I saw a group on the roadside. Women in bright shawls, a man with a bundle of sticks, a tall girl with curls escaping a tie. Our bus slowly stopped. I blinked. I saw Reina. She was standing with her group. It was a large one. Many ladies had her features. It looked like her family. She had 2 children playing with her. They looked like her. A tall guy came towards her and took the kids away. My heart clenched. I involuntarily took a deep breath and realized a knot of emotions forming tight in my throat. I could not swallow it down either. I did not want to look at her and turned away. The bus started moving and I was glad. I started fidgeting for my earphones, found them in frustration and put them on. 10-15 seconds passed, and Jonas tapped my shoulder from behind. I turned and asked what happened.
Hey, dude, did you know someone from that group?
He was pointing towards the group of people getting smaller in distance, where Reina stood.
Whoa, what happened? Why do you look like that?
I did not realize I had a tortured expression looking back towards Reina. Jonas was still waiting for his answer. I composed myself and answered him. Everything is fine. And no, I did not know anyone from that group. Why?
You sure?
Yeah, Jonas.
Well, okay. I just asked because some girl was running behind the bus, waving something shiny in her hand. And I think she was looking at you when she started running.
I could not focus. Jonas continued.
I did not see it clearly, but it looked like a bangle or a small statue in her hand.
It was Reina. It was neither a bangle or a statue. I knew now what the old lady meant. Hantana Mountains does send someone to listen to your true self. And I was waiting and hoping it was Reina. But all along, she had her own brass lamp, and I was her listener. I have no idea why such a wave of relief rushed over me, realizing that. If I meet Reina again, it will be because the universe arranges it, not because I go hunting for proof. I don't need proof if the myth was real. I have the proof in my bag. That is enough. I kept my headphones back. Silence followed us down the road. Not the kind I used to buy with headphones or late hours. The other kind. The alive kind.